beyond the immoral acts that we often highlight with these environments, particularly with Sodom. The real essence behind John describing Jerusalem in this way is because of the wicked nature that dwelt in this city. He saw the wickedness comparable to Sodom and Gomorrah, and that showed the reason why this is significant is because both Sodom and Egypt represents a type of the world. Sodom was destroyed by fire. That is prophetic of the destruction that is to come in the last days. So even though we're in the Old Testament with Sodom, it is to prophesy the future that is to come later. Also, Egypt represents a type of the world. But when we look at Egypt, what do we see? We see a body of people that belong to God that's delivered out of Egypt. That deliverance is typology or is symbolic of the rapture. So literally, Sodom and Egypt describes this Jerusalem that John saw. But just as God delivered his people out of Sodom, those that were righteous, even if it were a few, even as God delivered his people out of Egypt, though it was multitudes, either way you look at it, the deliverance of God came, and so it will be with his people during this time. But these are Israel. This generation, these people are Israel. But literally, before we even get there, he sees the body of Moses and Elijah lying in the streets, and they're forbidden of a decent burial. Literally, they're lying in the streets, and it is believed that the actual location where their bodies will lay is believed to be the same place where Christ was crucified. So there is thoughts surrounding whether this was Golgotha or not, where their bodies were lying. And literally, as it was with Christ, onlookers will look at the bodies of Moses and Elijah and will rejoice. They will celebrate, believing that defeat has finally come. The agenda of the Antichrist has prevailed. They will see this. However, though they preached for 3.5 years, God is so bad in the best way that he allows these bodies to remain dead for 3.5 days. God, I wish I had time to preach the way I felt. Their bodies will lie for 3.5 days. The last time I saw this, I was with Jesus, who died and was buried for 3 days. But on the third day, he got up, and the same will happen after the 3.5 days. That Elijah and Moses will lie in the streets as dead men. The Bible says that they will get up off the ground. Good God Almighty. Their bodies are going to stand up off the ground. And when their bodies stand up, there's going to be a voice that calls for them out of heaven. And immediately they're going to ascend into heaven to be in the presence of God. And this is the sign that the opportunity that was given for redemption has now concluded. So